I sat down to do the side content. That was the plan. Just knock out the side content, feel good about it, move on. That was 11 days ago. I have not moved on. I'm not even sure what I've been doing. I know it involves a ranch. I know I learned to brew alchemy potions, which required gathering insects, which unlocked a knowledge entry, which gave me a skill point, which made me realize I was missing 37 other knowledge entries. So obviously I had to go find those. Somewhere in there I tamed a horse, found out wolves are also rideable now, and then spent 2 hours chasing a legendary mount someone mentioned on Discord. The side content. I was just doing the side content. Here's the thing that nobody tells you up front. There is no side content in Crimson Desert. Or more accurately, by the time you figure out something is side content, it's already feeding 6 other systems you now care deeply about. Crafting feeds combat, feeds camp, feeds dispatching, feeds faction conflict, feeds exploration, feeds crafting. It's a circle, a massive, dense, slightly unhinged circle the game never once warns you about. And I've been going around it for 11 days. This is how the story went down. You boot up Crimson Desert and the first thing it hands you is the combat. And fair enough, the combat is genuinely great. Fast, combo driven, timing actually matters, reading enemies actually matters. It has this fighting game DNA that makes you want to get good at it. So you spend some time there, fighting things, having a blast. You think, okay, I understand what this game is about. And then you find the camp, the Greyman camp, your home base, which sounds simple and is not simple at all. You walk in and there's kind of a kitchen, an alchemy lab, a blacksmith, a dye station, farming plots, a ranch, and every single one of those is its own system with its own progression and its own resource chain that connects to things happening outside the camp. But you don't fully clock this yet because the game doesn't explain it. It just exists, waiting for you to poke it. So then you notice the life skills. And okay, every RPG has life skills, fishing, cooking, gathering. I've seen this, I'm fine. Except here, you don't really unlock them through a menu. You learn them by watching NPCs do them in the world. You want to fish? Go find a fisherman and observe him. Hunting? Learn it in the field. The game makes you actually interact with its world to learn its own systems, which is honestly kind of charming. And the camp does all of that. And this is the moment the game's actual shape starts revealing itself. Let me actually explain what the Greyman camp is, because home base is doing it a criminal disservice. The camp is a self-sustained production economy. You are farming crops that become cooking ingredients, that become food buffs, that you can improve your combat stats. You're raising livestock, cows, pigs, goats, chickens, and yes, you can physically pick up a pig and carry it around, which is kinda useless information that I think about constantly. You're brewing potions using flowers and insects you're gathering in the field. You're crafting and upgrading weapons at a blacksmith without needing to go to a city. And all of that matters mechanically. A proper meal before a hard fight is meaningful. Alchemy buffs change how you approach combat. The camp isn't decoration, it's infrastructure. But here's the part that actually got me. The Greymans, the NPCs living in your camp. You can dispatch them, send them out into the world on missions while you're off doing something completely different. They gather resources, they bring back currency and crafting materials, and you can also dispatch them to enemy-held blockades to weaken fortresses before you arrive, without Cliff being anywhere near that location. So while you are exploring one corner of the map, your guys are working another corner simultaneously. The camp grows as you recruit more NPCs through exploration and story. More population, more services, more upgrade tiers. So exploring the world builds the camp. The camp then gives you better tools for exploring the world, which finds more NPCs, which builds the camp more. It is a loop. It was always going to be a loop. And I think somewhere around hour 6, I just accepted that and I stopped fighting it. Then, and this is the one that actually broke something in me, the knowledge system sounds like a collectible system. Talk to NPCs, interact with objects, pick up items. They add entries to your knowledge database. Several different categories, creatures, items, activities, characters, all of it. Sounds like lore collectibles, sounds completely ignorable. Except filling some of the knowledge entries actually gives you Abyss artifacts. And Abyss artifacts are your core progression currency. Skill unlocks, stat upgrades, combat abilities, the actual power progression of the game. So being genuinely curious, wandering around, looking at things, picking stuff up, talking to people directly makes you stronger. Not in a vague immersion way, in a real mechanical, I now have more skill points way. The game turned getting distracted into a progression mechanic. And then it put sealed Abyss artifacts in the world, scattered everywhere, not on the main map, only showing up as purple icons on your minimap when you're close. And those also feed into the skill progression through a separate challenge system. Now just picture this, you're walking between two objectives, not looking for anything, just moving. And then a purple icon appears on your minimap. You investigate. You can get a skill point, but you need to complete a challenge. And now you're off path hunting purple icons and looking to complete the challenge, and you have completely also forgotten what you were going to do. The game designed that intentionally. It built a system that makes going off track feel like a good decision making. Which technically means you are never actually off track, which means there is no such thing as a wasted time in Crimson Desert. And that is either the most generous design philosophy I've ever seen or a psychological trap. Possibly both. Mounts. Okay, you get a horse, except you don't get a horse, at least not a good one. Horse taming is a life skill, so you learn it, and then you tame one. And different horses have different traits. And there's a ranch at the camp for rearing animals including mounts, and wolves and bears are also now tameable mounts. And legendary mounts exist with their own whole acquisition process. And flying mounts unlock through the story progression, and when they do, the entire map opens up vertically because now you can access areas you literally couldn't reach before. So every region you've already explored might need revisiting because of the knowledge system. Because now you have power you didn't have before. Because a mount unlocking retroactively creates reasons to go backwards. It's a feedback loop built on top of a feedback loop. And then the horse racing exists as a minigame, but so does pit fighting, arm wrestling, archery contests, gambling, fishing for fun separately from fishing for resources. And those minigames connect to the challenge system, which connects to the Abyss artifacts, which connects to the skill progression. So even the activities that look like they're just there for fun are feeding something. There is no throwaway content. I've looked and I cannot find any. At some point I tried to actually map this out, like draw a line between main game and optional stuff. I could not find the line. Crafting feeds combat performance. Combat drops good weapons and good gear. You can then put that gear into the camp upgrades. Camp upgrades unlock better cooking. Better cooking improves stats. Better stats change how you fight. Life skills gather ingredients, ingredients go into alchemy, alchemy produces combat buffs, buffs change exploration, exploration fills the knowledge system gives you artifacts, artifacts unlock skills, skills change combat. There is no edge, there is no outside, it is all inside. All of it is connected to all of it. And then liberating enemy strongholds, which looks like a main story thing, restores markets, unlocks NPCs, opens new quests, builds reputation, which has its own progression track. And your comrades back at the camp can be dispatched to weaken those same strongholds before you arrive. So the camp system connects to the faction system, which connects to the exploration system, which connects to the economy system. And then there's also the reblockade system, where territories you already liberated can fall back under enemy control. The world resets, it regenerates reasons to go back to places you thought you were done with. So even completion of an area isn't really completion. Crimson Desert's version of done is apparently a suggestion. Here's what I think is actually going on underneath all of this. Pearl Abyss made Black Desert Online, one of the densest MMOs ever built. A game so layered that the standard advice is to pick a specialization and ignore the rest because doing everything is literally impossible for one person. Crimson Desert is a single player game, designed by those exact same people. And you can feel it everywhere. The camp dispatch system is a node worker system. The life skills are Black Desert's life skills with a different skin. The resource change, the proficiency progression, the crafting depth. This is MMO design philosophy crammed into a single player box. In an MMO, all the content gets distributed. Different players do different things. The economy player, the combat player, the life skill player, the gatherer. The content spreads across a community. In Crimson Desert, there is no community to spread it across. There's you, looking at the whole thing alone. And the game never labels any of it optional. None of it says this is extra. It all presents itself as just the game. All of it. Come on in. Which is why the side content feels endless. It's not side content, it was never designed as a side content. It was designed as a world where different parts would matter to different people, and you are all of those people simultaneously. And the content was always going to be too much for one person because that was never really the point. You are playing an MMO by yourself, that's what's happening, and the MMO doesn't know you're alone, it just keeps going. That's why you'll never finish it, not because it's hard, because it's not built to end, it's built to redirect permanently into the next thing and the next thing and the thing after that. I've been going around the circle for 11 days, I'm going back in tonight.